part again this week, and that's just the consistency factor of those three running backs, the three-headed monster we have in Howard, Atkins, and Rose. But then you also have to add the ability of Jamie Lathrop to come in and make some big plays for us as well. Effective as always, it seems. And the defensive side of the ball, I feel like we really need to start limiting the penalties, and the defensive line needs to get a little more pressure. I feel like the pressure's not coming from the defensive line, but more of the linebacker position. And we have some speed and some size on the defensive line. We got to start breaking through, be able to get some big pressure hits on them.
We'll see if they're able to do that against Chilhowie this weekend as we move into the opponent scouting report. Chilhowie's 3-2 and the favorite to win the Hoga-Higi District. Of course, I'm pretty familiar with Chilhowie, graduating from Patrick Henry, a pretty big rival of ours. They went 9-3 last season, made it to the second round of the playoffs. It's even more impressive because in the last 2 years before that, in 2014 and 15, Chilhowie's overall record 3-17. So for them to turn around and get a 9-3 season last year and make it to the second round of the playoffs is amazing for Coach Robinson and the rest of the Warriors. It's the sixth consecutive week for Chilhowie to be playing, and it'll be their third consecutive road game coming up Friday night at Gene Malcolm Stadium. They're coming off a 52-22 Apple Bowl victory win over the Northwood Panthers. And so far on the year, they've posted 2 shutout wins, one over Twin Springs, the other over J.I. Burton. Overall on the year, they're allowing just 13.5 points per game. And, of course, last season they defeated Virginia High 27-21 in Chilhowie. So a little bit of a revenge game coming up Friday night at homecoming. It'll be a fun afternoon. Another Warrior team, back-to-back games against a team going by the name of Warriors as well. They have an experienced running back in Greg Sanchez, 1,300 rushing yards last season, 13 touchdowns. Average weight of the offensive line, 235 pounds. They got some pretty big guys up there. I know their left tackle is close to 240, so going to have to be able to get by him. Dual-threat quarterback Zach Kale will replace Alex Delp at quarterback. And Alex Delp was the Chilhowie leader in single-season passing yards, career passing yards, and career touchdown passes. So big shoes to fill for him. But so far with the Warriors, they've looked pretty good. And the 2 losses, George Wythe and Marion, they've lost by a combined 8 points. And the George Wythe game, they were lined up on the 1-yard line getting ready to go ahead. They were down 24-21. Getting on a timeout. George Wythe called a timeout. Chilhowie false start, and then another penalty, and they're trying to kick a field goal to tie the game with no time left, and what do you know, it gets blocked. And that's how they ended up losing to a really good George Wythe team by 3 points. So don't let the record fool you with the 2 losses for those. It was a 5-point loss against Marion to add to that. And the defense, we got Coach Robinson's information. He was actually really, really nice to us to give us all sorts of information on the team for Chilhowie, and he was talking about the strength of their defense and how the offense is going to have to come along as the season went, but the defense seems to be where it's at, experience-wise, talent-wise, and scheme-wise.
Yeah, and the problem for us is probably going to be the zone coverage that they run. It seems very consistently. They make you fight for every yard that you get on the offensive side of the ball. And like I mentioned earlier, the effectiveness of our offense and the big playability is going to have to show up for this game, especially to wear out that defense.
On the offensive side, we'll see Chilhowie in a shotgun formation. They're going to run the ball a lot. Every now and then they'll turn to a pistol look with one man in the backfield, and that, of course, being Sanchez. Seems like every play that we watched on film, Chilhowie's got a guy in motion.
Oh, absolutely, every single time. And if you look at it here, it actually has him listed as a motion running back to come out of the backfield. They are a really one-dimensional team, and I think that's really going to help us a lot, especially with the position that our linebackers are able to make some pressure on the offensive side.
It's interesting seeing a team run so much out of the shotgun, because usually we see this in a triple option team or just a ground and pound I formation, but this time it's coming out of the shotgun pistol formations, and there's a lot of motion intertwined, so it has that sort of feel of a triple option. And we've seen some reverses they do. They do like a handoff to the running back, and then he'll toss it back to the wide receiver that was coming in motion. It's a funky offense, but really it's all about assignment football if you're on defense for the Bearcats.
And it seems like we preach this every week, but the discipline of the linebacker position is going to be huge for the Bearcats this week.
And defensively, they run kind of an odd scheme. It's called odd front defense. They'll mix linemen in with linebackers up on the line of scrimmage. They'll really line them up as defensive ends that can cover wide receivers. So it's really interesting, and it'll be a lot on Jamie Lathrop to have to pick out who to go to, who his hot reads are in that one, and they can go 2, 3, or 4 down linemen, and they can easily match those offenses that way. we noticed in the film as well against Marion especially, lots of space on the outside given at the line of scrimmage.
And the thing about it is if you line up 10 yards off the ball, we've talked about it all week on our end as well, 5-yard curls, that's easy to come about and pick up 5 easy yards for the offense. But like you said, it's the how effective can you be against someone who makes you earn every yard that you have to get.
We'll see how they do in that category, and lots of zone coverage. Like Mark said, they'll make you earn it. Quick reactive defense, we saw that in the film. The guys really fly to the football. They'll give up some short yardage plays, but they don't allow a lot over the top, so the big play offense might have to take a back seat this week. It might be more of chipping your way down the field, but think about that. When you're keeping the ball in front of you, more snaps means more chances for a mistake offensively, so you got to watch out whenever you're trying to really push the agenda.
And the time of possession hasn't been in our favor a lot this year. Like we mentioned earlier, Y Central almost doubled our time of possession last week. So it's going to be difficult for us. It's going to be a different challenge to be able to hold on to the ball that long and make the plays that we need to get in the end zone.
So let's ask you a couple of questions here. What sticks out in the film to you other than what we've talked about, the motion and the quarterback and the running back? What else sticks out to you?
I know you said not the running back, but Gary Sanchez, he's super slippery for a running back from Chilhowie. Has a lot of great running ability, super elusive, and he's going to be a lot for us this week to handle.
Greg Sanchez.
I have the sheet right in front of me.
Yeah, of course, Gary Sanchez plays for the Yankees, so, and you're a Red Sox fan, so that really doesn't
don't throw it under the bus.
What kind of game do you expect to see Friday night?
A long game. I feel like it's going to be a lot of ground and pound, a lot of 3-4 yard, maybe even 2-yard gains consistently over and over. The clock will run. Both the teams like to run the ball a lot. I think it's going to be a long game, and it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Score-wise, what are you saying?
I think it'll be low scoring. I don't think we hit the 30-point mark this week, but I do think that we pull it out 24-10.
All right, so getting Mark's prediction there. He didn't know I was going to put that one on him, so right off the top of his head, it seemed like you had it. But that is your preview for the Chilhowie Warriors. Again, 3-2 coming to Bristol Friday night to face the Bearcats. And be sure to follow Bearcat Radio on social media. That's at VHS Bearcat Radio on Twitter. And then at Facebook, just search Bearcat Radio, and you can keep up to date with everything that's going on as far as the show from Buffalo Wild Wings or broadcast information. We're going to play a couple of the highlights from last week's game, and up next we'll have Bearcat football head coach Mike Christ coming up after this break. We'll be right back. Here's some highlights. They're going to line up in that same formation. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Lathrop rolls out to the right side, looking downfield. Good protection. Now he'll throw a spiral near the sideline, and it's caught there. Diving catch by Austin Davidson. He sort of slid a baseball slide right at the sticks, and it's enough for a first down as they're going to wave the chains. Good play there by Lathrop, extending the play and throwing a dart right to the sideline, and he was able to keep both feet in.
And, he just threw it right there where the defender wasn't able to make a play on it. Absolutely great pinpoint pass there by Jamie Lathrop. This feels like an early big play here for the Bearcats with the way the Y Central flipped the field there on just one play. You have to punt it here. You get the ball, give it to them at their 40-yard line, maybe at best. I feel like it's a big play here for the Bearcats.
Yeah, that 3rd down and 5 really changed this whole quarter as they were able to flip the field. 3rd down, there's the snap. Lathrop's going to roll out. Now he's going to run right up the middle. He's got the 1st and more. He's at the 50 looking for a block. He swings by across the 50 to the 40, weaves by another tackler. Now he's breaking back to the other side of the field. 20, 15, 10. Carry him into the end zone. Touchdown. Big
run. Wow, just slaloming all the way through the end zone there. A 76-yard run there by Jamie Lathrop. And it just seemed like somebody was going to get him at some point there.
Go down officially. It's a 74-yard run. Ball was on the 26-yard line. Jamie Lathrop started off right up the middle, weaved off to the left side, got over here around the 45-yard line and cut back to the right, and no one was there. And another great run by Jamie Lathrop. And they're up 6-0. Wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. They're getting their signs in from the sideline. Garrett Ambergy, the offensive coordinator out of Abingdon High School. This is his first year with the Bearcats. So drop back. Lathrop looking deep. Got a man. He's leading him right on the money, and it's caught there and drugged down inside the 30.
Lane Carroll on the catch there, absolutely just right over the top of the defender. You couldn't have placed that ball in his hands any better than that, Dylan.
So 40 yards right on the money. Lane Carroll lined it up on the left hash. He'll have to get his directions under him, too, as far as which way he's going to have to kick it at an angle. There's the snap, the hold, the kick has the distance, and it's through. It's good.
It was good for another 10 to 15 yards there, Dylan. He absolutely had a cannon.
Welcome back to Bearcat Sports Chat. We have head football coach, Coach Christ, on with us today, and glad to have you back after the first show.
Hey, good to be back.
Got Mark here this time, as Mark missed out on the interview the last time out. So, Coach, first question, Mark figured this, he had this one pre-packaged here. The VHSL released the first points ranking 2 days ago. Virginia High comes out number 4 in that ranking for everybody who didn't know about that. Number 4, so that's a pretty good start. And, of course, you got number 1 coming up in a few weeks against Marion. So has that changed anything? I know you're probably going to say no, but was there any excitement, though, after that first ranking came out?
No. Reality is just six games, 5 games for some other people. So reality is a lot of things are going to play out. I don't really start looking at points and possible seeding till about week 9. You know, honestly, going into your last game that you're concerned, and usually you have some projections for where you may be. But at this point in the year, it doesn't mean very much.
So you had a bye week this week. What were some things you were able to focus on with the team during that time? And is this a good time for you to have the bye week? Would you have placed it somewhere else if you had the option to?
No, I think it came at a good time. We're fortunate that we were healthy going into the bye week. But, you know, we kind of sit down and we want to accomplish 3 things during that bye week. One is try to get back to your day 1 fundamentals. Even though you keep those throughout the season, even though it's the base of our program, once you start getting into week-to-week schemes, it's easy to for those fundamentals to lack in time a little bit because you do spend more time schematically. So we want to get back to our day 1 fundamentals. Then additionally, it gives you an extra week for your next opponent. So we were able to look at some of what Chilhowie did last year and, put in some base game plan against them without going into too much detail until we got the film from them. And then lastly, allows you to refresh and recharge. I think that's important. It's a long season. You want to play a lot of games. So it was important that we just kind of take a week. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but, get back, get more sleep, not have that game pressing on you. Just kind of refresh a little bit.
So, Coach, talking about a little bit more in detail about the practice, what were some things you were able to get done or work on during the week?
Just, back to what we do. I wasn't install anything crazy or new offensively or defensively. It was do what we do, but continue to get better, refocus on some of those fundamentals, and then more than anything, just let us refresh a little bit. Get your minds away from it. You don't have to grind out that victory on Friday. So it this allows you to have a weekend off, a long weekend. Our kids do well with that. When we came back Tuesday, we had a great practice. When we came back this Monday after a long weekend, we had a great practice. They're a mature group, so they handle that well.
Yeah, it's sort of tough after having a week off to have to get back into things on the next Friday. Mm-hmm. So you're not expecting any sort of slowness out of homecoming?
No, you hope not. Obviously, you have a week off. You got to get back into game speed. I think our guys can do that pretty quickly. But at the same time, we're excited that we had that week to refresh and get ready to go this week.
So you've had a chance to go back and watch some film for the Wise Central game. What are some things you took away from that ball game?
To be honest, I think we played a pretty good football game. Sometimes you leave the field and you don't think you played well in certain situations, then you go look to film and it proves otherwise. So film's always the truth. Always reveals the truth. Once you put on the film, it never lies. We didn't get off the field in some fourth downs. Had a few missed tackles. The one long run we gave away, we just didn't have a gap fit. we were a little off there. Other than that, we played a pretty good football game. Granted, one was a special teams